One, two,
this is the Business 901 podcast, where you will find many of the leading edge thinkers in the world of continuous improvement, lean, service design, and sales and marketing. The podcast is sponsored by the Lean Marketing Lab, a learning community dedicated to developing and improving the user experience. Now to the podcast.
Welcome, everyone. This is Joe Dager, the host of the Business 901 podcast. With me today is Bob Petruska. Bob is a well-known consultant and author of Gimbal Walks for Service Excellence. An international presenter, Bob is best known for helping teams make business impacts fast. He has a way of transitioning from ideas to practice that are really unlike anyone else in the industry. Bob, thanks for joining me today, and what are you up to lately?
Thank you, Joe. I'm thrilled to be on your show as always. Lately, I've been focusing my efforts on rapidly improving the improvement process. And by this, I mean, I think there's an opportunity for us to explore kaikaku, which is the Japanese term for massive change or step change. And so I've been interested in what Facebook has been doing with the hacker's way, for example, and also applying TryStorming to the work that we do. That way we make change happen really fast in real time, and the people that are working in the area get a chance to make the change happen. When they do it themselves, they don't argue with the outcome. They learn and they move on. And so I think that this is really the future for me as it pertains to improvement efforts.
You're always coming up with these great new things. Let me deviate from what I wanted to talk to you about a little bit. What's TryStorming?
Well, TryStorming is like brainstorming on steroids. The basic idea of it is that we allow people to experiment. And this is the area that seems to be a sticking point for many organizations. It's sort of like we get to a certain point of our processes and we don't want to touch them. You know, we don't want to go back and say, well, what can we do to make it better? Instead, we'll just say, don't change anything or don't surprise the boss. And until we create the conditions for surprise, we really won't improve. And so what TryStorming does is it gives people a safe playground, so to speak, for them to test their ideas out in real time. Besides just brainstorming, they actually try them out and prove, does the idea work?
Well, so try is T-R-Y. It's not T-R-I, right?
Right.
It's not a three-step process, is it?
No. It is not 3 steps at all. It is basically what you can use for your creativity. What can you do today? You know, we've had teams come up with things that they're like, well, we had this fixture in the back, and they think about it and they say, wow, you know, hey, let's bring that out. And they bring out the fixture, and then that sparks a new idea. And if we change this, then, you know, we'll eliminate the problems that we've been having with the formation of the product. And these are the kinds of things that I think really matter. It's that people are given the chance to put into practice something now today because they want to see the improvement. People want to see the results. They don't have patience for endless meetings like we might have done 10 years ago.
This is really just putting it out there and doing it, and with a little thought behind it, though, right?
Well, the thought comes in through the Gemba. So we focus first on the place of work, go to the place of work. We observe with an eye for what we can do better, what we're good at, what we can leverage. And then we ask people to come back and say, all right, how can we do even better? What can we do to make it difficult for people to make mistakes? So that's the kind of thing that we're looking at. And I think it's fun because it's rapid, it happens in real time, and it isn't a long drawn-out process. But we do create the conditions for it. So it's about working closely with those sponsors to help them understand what they need to do to enable improvements to happen. And sometimes it's getting out of the way, myself included.
When we look at change management, All right. And we look at all the different disciplines of change management, and we think of how many consultants are out there doing change management. They're all kind of seem very similar, and both of us are real familiar with Cotter's approach and the ADKAR approach and the other ones, but they really haven't seemed to impact anymore. Every study I see, that they seem to still be stuck at 30% success rate. Does TryStorming help this?
I think that when you look at change, if it's being put on you, so there's a quote that says, people don't resist change, they resist being changed. So what we do with TryStorming is we allow the people working in the area to come up with their own change. And when they own it and it's their idea, my gosh, all you got to do is get out of the way, because they're going to adopt it. They're going to make it happen. So I think the concept of change management as it pertains to at the process level, at the system level, if you can allow the people themselves to create it, to experiment with it, and to perfect it, then they will not argue with it. They will adopt it just naturally. It just happens like that. So that's what I like about the approach of the TryStorming, the hacker's way, and the kaikaku.
What's the best way for someone to contact you and get a hold of you?
Well, my website is bobpetruska.com, or you can send me an email at bob@bobpetruska.com, or you can just pick up the phone and call me 704-615-3731. If you have any questions or just want to talk or pick my brain or just make a friend, it would be great.
Okay. Well, I'd like to thank you very much, Bob. This podcast will be available on the Business 901 iTunes Store and the Business 901 website. So thanks again, Bob.
Sure, Joe. It's always a pleasure. Thank you.
Visit us at theleanmarketinglab.com.